Smoker Ninja. This is our mid 2024 game review, I guess you'd say. Um, I did one like this last year, and I decided I'd do another one now that Pokemon Violet Scarlet have been out with their DLCs for some time, and a new game hasn't come out just yet. So, thought this would be probably the best time to do one of these, and then kind of cover the sales of generations 1 through 8 as well. So, with that being said, let's get started. Now, I know I've made a video like this before, and I'm sure based on what I probably chose then, my opinion is probably going to change a little bit on this one. Um, but with that being said, let's get started. Now, I took the time to organize the games down here so it's easier to remember the order or semi order of these games. So with that being said, we're going to start with the very first Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. Well, more or less Red and Blue. Red and Blue was the first games for America. It was Red and Green, I think, in Japan. Um, we never got Green here, and I don't think they got Blue there. Something like that. But regardless, Red and Blue was our first. So, in my opinion, they still hold solid because they are the first. There was nothing before them, but they still are solid games. And when we go look at the sales of these games, they're still holding true. Pokemon Yellow, for me though, was more meh. It was like, okay, you already had this game out, and then you came out with a anime version of the game where Pikachu follows you, and that was fun for a moment, but it really kind of left you stuck with Pikachu on your team, and it's like, I already have to use an HM slave, and now I have to use a Pikachu. All right, you know. So my opinion of the early games are very limited because one, I don't remember them much anymore because I haven't played them in a while. Um, well, I haven't played Red and Yellow in a while. I'm playing Blue on my DS. And it's kind of fun because it's like retro and all that. So nostalgia. But anyway, next games that came out was Silver and Gold and Crystal. And these games were kind of an improvement to Generation 1. They had some quality of life updates, some fixes, they had color. Um, and they added a few more Pokemon. Not many, just a few. And overall, and then they let you go back to Generation 1's region, um, Kanto. So that was also fun. I mean, it was a scaled down version, um, but it was still fun. That's the one thing about Generation 2 I liked the most. You could go back to the early generation and still play those gyms. I really wish they kept that with all the games. Once you beat Hoenn, you could fly to Johto and Kanto. Once you beat Sinnoh, you can fly to Hoenn, Kanto, and Johto. Once you beat Unova and Alola and Kalos and Galar and Paldea, you just go, fly back and collect the gym that just become the Pokemon Master. Because that's what, in a sense, you're wanting to do. You're wanting to master all the regions. So, but you kind of can't with the exact same teams because not all your Pokemon are in every game. And you can't transfer into Generation 5 for a while. So, you know, that's one thing I wish they did kept going. all past regions playable in the canoe version after you beat, obviously. But I'm gonna put those up here on good game. Well, silver and gold good. Crystal was better because it improves some stuff in the games themselves too. Um, Crystal, Emerald, and Platinum are the enhanced versions of silver, gold, ruby, sapphire, pearl, diamond. So those are going to obviously be better. Now, at this time, this was the end of the Game Boy itself. We moved over to the Game Boy Advance. And we only really had two sets of Pokemon games come out for the Game Boy Advance. We had Generation 3, which was Ruby Sapphire, which to me, honestly, they're playable, but they were mad. I didn't really like them as much because I was still kind of stuck on Crystal. And then we had Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, I left out a game, and we'll come back to it. Fire Red, Leaf Green to me was just nothing more than a rehanced version of Red and Blue. And we already had that multiple times by that point. So I really wasn't a big fan of those two. I played them, I replayed them a few times, but more or less just kind of let them go. Emerald, I liked a lot more because it was, an enhanced version. It fixed a lot of things, and you know, so that's why I put it on average. Now, Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire, I moved down because the remakes of those I like 1,000 times better. So that's why I moved them down. Um, to me, the remakes were just, oh my god, the best remakes to date, including Brilliant Diamond. They beat out Brilliant Diamond's remakes. Of course, a lot of things beat out Brilliant Diamond. So, but that was said, we're gonna move on to Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl, I'm gonna put down here now that I've replayed Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and they're basically the same game. Just one's on the Switch, one's on the DS. Um, I'm gonna move them down because I playing through them, and I'm currently doing a video series on Brilliant Diamond. I'm start I remember a lot of things that I had issues with. Now they did do one improvement that they have since done away with since Alola. Um, is HMs are gone, so they give you this free Pokemon in a sense that you can't access unless you are going to catch something, swim, fly, that kind of thing. It's a Pokemon that comes out of the wild, already knowing this move for you, which is hilarious. And you still get the move because you can put those moves on your team if you want. I don't know anyone who puts strength or cut on their team because mm. Now surf and fly are amazing, but man, some of the others were kind of like Flash. I mean, seriously, Flash. So that's where I stand on that one. I mean, but other than that, I mean, they were good games. Now Platinum, I'm not Platinum's never going to leave best game list for me. that game fixed so many things wrong with Diamond and Pearl, and I wish, and I know they wouldn't have done it anyways, because they didn't do it with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They didn't do it with Fire Leaf, Leaf Green, Soul Silver. You know, they didn't do it with the other remakes. So like Crystal, Emerald, Platinum are forgotten games in a sense because they don't get a remake. They should have taken the quality of life stuff from those games and put into the remakes. Like, because Platinum's Pokedex was so much better. The evolution and leveling of your team was so much better. The gyms were better. The routes were better. Everything was just better. And it was just, oh, when you go back, yeah, if you play Platinum and go back to Pearl and Diamond, you're just like, where's this? Why is it not here? Yeah, yeah, I know. But that right there is the end of also generations 1 through 4, were the only games where previous generational Pokemon could be caught in the other generations. Generation 1 being excluded because it was the first. But Generation 2 had a lot of Generation 1 Pokemon in it. Generation 3 had some Generation 1 and 2 Pokemon in it. Not many. Same with 4, but 4 gave us baby Pokemon. Annoyingly so. I was never a fan of the baby Pokemon. It was just another step in the evolution chain to get a complete Pokedex to me. So, and then we have, I think I'll do it this way. The remakes of Silver and Gold come out. Soul Silver, Heart Gold. Honestly, I like these games a lot. Um, to me, they are the perfect rendition of Generations 1 and 2. And they can't get better than that. Unless we remake Heart Gold, Soul Silver on the Switch with more improvements, those are set. Those were the perfect rendition of remakes for Generations 1 and 2 combined. So, yeah. Now, the reason I skipped Black and White is because Black and White is the start, and is the only other generation since Generation 1 that started with brand new Pokemon, over 150 of them, from scratch. Black and White, now looking back on them, yes, they get a lot of hate, but they were 1,000 times better than generations 2, 3, and 4. One is still going to always be the precedent. I'm not going to knock it. That's why I put it in the middle, C tier, average, whatever you want to call it. Black and White basically redid the game. It was like a quiet restart, and I loved it. I just the games were fun. It was fun having to figure out which Pokemon you put on your team because you didn't have any of the previous generation to fall back on. So you had to learn new Pokemon. You had to learn what they do. You had to learn the annoyances of Pat Rat. Yes, we all know. We Pat Rat. And the difficulty of the gyms were different. And it was just so much different, and I loved every bit of it. And that's why Black and White will be up here, in my opinion, some of the best games. And then we had, for a first time in Pokemon history, instead of one enhanced game, we got two. We got Black and White 2, or Black 2, White 2, however you want to say it. And, sorry, my phone keeps going off, and I don't know why. So Black and White 2 to me was a letdown. Yes, it added more area to play, it added some changes to the game and all that, but then it did the one thing I wish it hadn't done. It added all the Generation 1 through 4 Pokemon catchable at the start. I'm fine with after the you beat the champion because you want to complete the Pokedex, obviously. But from the start, you don't. I mean, you get your starter Pokemon, and the first Pokemon you can catch on a route is a Railu or a Bidoof, and it's like, what? What? I mean, because who's not gonna want Railu on their team? It loves Lucario. I mean, great Pokemon. Bidoof, great HM slave. I mean, yeah, we still have HMs, but still, it hurt. So to me, and they're playable. Well, I didn't mean to put it there, but they're meh to me. They were a letdown to me. I'm about to turn the phone off. All right. So, but yeah, that's where I stand with those. Now, this is also the end of the sprites and basically how generations 1 through 5 were played. Because the next ones that come out were X and Y, and they changed a lot of the graphics. They were easier games, I will say. They had their difficulties. They did. The routes were kind of annoying because they had splintering routes. Um, and you had to do a lot of backtracking or had to go back to look for something. And but they added some things that was really cool. Like, I like that castle that's right past Lumino City. Not Pulfar Castle where you get the flute to move Snorlax. The other one, the where you can go fight and become like Duke and all that. That castle, I spent days in that castle. I was so over leveled for everything else. It was just a walk in the park for the rest of the game. But I had so much fun in that castle. It was like, ooh, another person shouts. I mean, because they got harder as you went, and I loved it. And it was just so much fun for me. Yes, it kind of digressed from the gyms, and yes, it made everything else easier. So yeah. So in addition to X and Y, I've also been doing a video on Pokemon X because in preparation of the new game that's coming out, Legends ZA. And it's basically over Lumino City, which is the capital city of Pokemon X and Y. But after playing through X and Y, or X at least, my opinion of them have changed. They used to be probably here or here. They're now an average. I'm like, they're good games. They're not bad. So now I've already kind of touched on this. To me, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire are like amazing remakes. Amazing remakes. And it's the first remakes I actually have up here in best games list or A tier. And oh, or superior tier or whatever you want to call it. But yes, they are like the epitome of you know why is that with this thing? Okay, sorry for that moment of internet glitchiness. Um, but yes, they are to me my favorite remakes. And then sadly, they lead off into some of the worst games in history for me. I hated these games. Sun, Moon, I'm just lumping them together. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Yes, they gave us some good Pokemon in those games. I'm not knocking that, and I'm not basing my opinion on just the Pokemon. A few Pokemon does not override the fact that the game's routes are so short, the maps don't make sense, the areas don't make sense, and it's a bunch of islands, which is fine because we've done islands before. But it's and then the story takes over so much, or they're hand holding your hand through most of the important stuff. And it's like, let me go. I know the story. Like, literally at the beginning of the game, there should be an option that says, have you played this game already once? If you hit yes, then it takes out the hand holding. It lets you do your thing. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, that's why I place them so high. I love these games. Joking. Now, that's why they're way down here. So, yeah, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun Moon. I can't even keep the joke going with me loving them. The only thing I liked about this game was a handful of Pokemon, and other than that, everything else I just did not care for. I didn't care for the lack of gyms. I didn't care for the lack of really a bad guy team. It was more of a random gang of people that if the gym wasn't in that town, you didn't even have to bother with them. And it, the Ultra Beast thing was neat. The Z crystals were annoying. I preferred Mega Evolution. I still prefer Mega Evolution. It just, I don't know. Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I, ugh. And then that leads us to the Switch games. Now, we only have two actual new mainline games on it, a remake, a, I don't know what you want to call this one, and then a new mainline game. The first ones to come out was Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. And frankly, if I had a tier that said trash can, I would probably put those two there. I'm fine with Pokemon Let's Go on my phone. That's fine and dandy because, whatever. I play that when I'm bored. So it's not like it takes much of my time and I don't spend a lot of time on it. But when I'm playing on my Switch or the DS or even the Game Boys, I'm planning to put some time into the game. These games do not give much of that fun, to my opinion. And that's the end of my discussion on them. Sword and Shield. I'm sure at one. What is going on here? I'm sure I had them either here or here. Looking back at them, I'm now going to give them a good rating because with the DLCs, they are a lot more fun. I don't actually play the games with most of the new Pokemon they came with, unless I'm doing those videos like I'm doing one for Pokemon Shield right now, and I'm just using Generation 8 Pokemon. And it is. Eh. So, whereas when I play for fun, after the first time, which anytime since buying the games is considered anytime after the first time, I will import Pokemon and breed them and then hatch an egg and be like, that's my Pokemon, my starter. Like Mudkip or Rowlet. And I'll either keep Scorbunny. I think I brought Finnegan in one time because I couldn't bring Froakie, I don't think. No, I brought Froakie. I don't remember. I don't remember actually. Hmm. I know I did Mudkip once and I did Rowlet. and that helped. And then I brought Starly, and then I brought Talonflame. And Dragonpult's not bad. I do use Dragonpult or Honedge. I mean, I had a lot of other Pokemon I'd put on my team, and that's fine and dandy. I mean, because like, and in the videos that I make, like for Shield, Brilliant Diamond, and X, the first thing I say is the only rule I have is you can only use Pokemon in that generation. Like if I'm playing X, I'm using Generation 6 Pokemon. Playing Brilliant Diamond, Generation 4 Pokemon. Now, if a Generation 3 Pokemon evolves into Generation 4 Pokemon, you technically can use that to get the 4 Pokemon. 6 doesn't have that problem, and neither does 8. So, only 4 does, really, because of the baby Pokemon. and and that's my only rule, and that's my rule when I first buy a game. So like when Black and White, well, Black and White remakes come out, ain't gonna be a problem because it's gonna be just Black and White Pokemon. But say Generation 6 X and Y remakes were coming out, well, since they would be technically new games, remakes of the originals, but new games on the Switch, I would use only Generation 6 Pokemon for my first playthrough on one of them. I would buy both games, but one of them would be Generation 6 Pokemon only. And then the other one I'll just play however I want. Does that make sense, I guess? And I've done that ever since Generation 3, actually. So, because Generation 2 is almost impossible to do. There's just not enough Pokemon to build a great team with just Generation 2 Pokemon. So, but yeah. But so in case of Sword and Shield, when I first played Sword, yeah, I used Generation 8 Pokemon. Then I bought Shield, played it as however, restarted it for that video, so it's now all just Generation 8 Pokemon. And have since restarted Sword. I just restarted Sword a long time ago. So it's actually however I want it. You know, my team, the Pokemon. I think I'm running around the Crown Tundra in that one, that save. This one, I think we're up to just beat the Fire Gym, making our way through the wild area. So video, I think I have a video coming up tomorrow of this one. So either way, and then you know that's how I play those, and they're pretty decent. The routes are kind of shortish. The team gym leaders are kind of eh. The challenges are weird, but they're interesting. So giving them a retake, I'm moving them up, and then that brings us to Legends Arceus. I loved Legends Arceus. I've only restarted the game one time. And before I restarted it, I pulled every Pokemon I had on my. I went and caught a Pidoof, made it my team member, and moved even everyone on my team into the, Poke Corral, whatever you want to call it, and moved them all into the bank, and then moved them all back to the game after I restarted it. My only regret is I forgot about the. I can't really call them totem Pokemon. Just those really hard Pokemon that you have to challenge every now and throw bean bags at. Yeah, those things. You know, I still hate Arcanine. I hate Arcanine. That battle makes me scream and yell and pretty much cry almost because it is so painful. The others aren't as bad, but that one is just pure on painful, and it's annoying. But I'm on my second playthrough of it. I haven't finished the second playthrough. I don't think I will restart it again, um, or at least for a while. If I do, it'll be for a video, um, like a Legends video series. Legends Arceus and Legends ZA and then Legends whatever it's after that kind of thing. But yeah, I love it. I liked the take on it. I liked how they did it. I liked how they evolved trade Pokemon like Manchimp and Haunter. Oh my gosh. Why can't we do that in the newer games all the way? Like, because when I was growing up, I couldn't ever have a Gengar. I could never have Gengar. Because I didn't live somewhere where everyone played Pokemon or had Pokemon games. And so training to get Gengar was never going to happen for me. So it was a blast when I finally got a Gengar. I didn't get Gengar until Generation 5, Black and White 2, because of a roommate I had. She liked playing Pokemon games, and we sat there and traded Pokemon left and right, like she needed the entry. She didn't care if she had the Pokemon. I wanted the actual Pokemon because I liked doing living decks. So we were just trading, and I got my Gengar. I was so happy. Oh my gosh, I got the Alakazam, all those trade Pokemon. Oh, but yes, Legends Arceus. I like how they did that. That brings us to, I think, some of the most difficultly opinionated games to date. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I'm putting them in the playable section. That doesn't necessarily mean I agree that they are great games. They're meh. They are exact copies of really Pearl and Diamond. Like, exact copies. Just updated graphics, really, for the Switch. And I get I guess I'll move them up to average because they are a tad bit better than Pearl Diamond. It just they are a lot like Brilliant Diamond and have no platinum influence at all. They could have been good games. They really could have been good games, and they should have been good games. We just came off Sword and Shield. We had all of X and Y from them to build from. We had Omega Ruby Sapphire they could have built from. I mean, they didn't have to make it like Sword and Shield. They could have done it just like Omega. They literally could have copied just Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and changed the map. That and that would have been fine. Sinnoh didn't even have to have a gimmick. We That would have been fine if it was just, I don't know. I think they did Sinnoh badly. They really did for such a strong region. They really did Sinnoh bad because some of my favorite Pokemon are from that game, that generation. Like a lot of good. The hardest champion to date is from that region. Like no champion since or before is harder than Cynthia. Like my Pokemon right now for Brilliant Diamond, I'm trying to get to level 75 or higher just so I can challenge her because she is brutal. The Elite Four ain't nothing. Her, she brutal. Like, oh my gosh, brutal. And they did Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl that way, and it's just like lost opportunities there. Like, so many lost opportunities. and it's sad. It really was sad. And then lastly, I think I'm gonna go on to Scarlet and Violet. And the thing is these two games are different enough that I can actually split them because Scarlet is a different theme than Violet, and I didn't really care for Scarlet. Just everything's just I don't know. I didn't just like the map is the same, the teams are the same, but a lot of the storyline's different, and I don't know, weird. Will I play it? Yes, I will play Scarlet just to get all the Scarlet exclusive Pokemon to send over to Violet. I liked Violet a whole lot more, and when I do my playthrough series on Generation 9, I will probably choose Violet because I just like it so much more. Am I going to be thrilled because I have to restart Violet? No, I'll probably do Scarlet. I can suck up. I'll do Scarlet. I don't mind restarting Scarlet. I think I already have restarted Scarlet and have it waiting. So, but yeah, I think this is where we stand on the 2024 for June um, game retake. Before we go, I did mention that I was going to show you the cells for generations 1 through 8, or the approximate. So hold on while I do that switch.